The Garden of Eden, a story of trust, choice, and love. Before cities, before nations, before history even had a name, there was a garden. Not just any garden, but a paradise planted by God Himself. It was a place of peace, beauty, and perfect relationship, a world where everything was in harmony. In this garden, two people walked side by side with their Creator, free to enjoy everything He had made. They had purpose. They had love. And most importantly, they had trust. But in the quiet of paradise, a choice was offered, and everything changed. The Garden of Eden, a story of trust, choice, and love, is more than just the beginning of the Bible. It's the beginning of our story, one that reveals the heart of God, the power of our choices, and the promise of redemption that echoes through every page that follows. A perfect beginning. In the beginning, after creating the world, God formed a special place on earth, a paradise called Eden. It was filled with beauty, rivers that sparkled, trees full of delicious fruit, flowers that never wilted, and animals that lived in peace. At the center of this paradise, God placed the very first human, Adam. And not long after, from Adam's side, God created a companion for him, Eve. God said, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you eat from that tree, you will surely die." God gave Adam and Eve freedom, but also one boundary, not to keep them from something good, but to teach them about trust and love through obedience. The perfect relationship. Each day, Adam and Eve walked with God. Imagine that, walking with the Creator, talking to Him face to face. There was no shame, no fear, just peace, purpose, and joy. They cared for the garden, named animals, and enjoyed each other. It was life as it was meant to be, pure and full of love. This is what humanity was made for, relationship with God, with one another, and with creation, all in harmony. The lie in the garden. But one day, a voice slithered through the garden. It was the serpent, Satan in disguise. He whispered to Eve. The serpent said, "Did God really say you can't eat from any tree? You won't die. In fact, you'll be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the fruit. It looked good. She took a bite, and gave some to Adam. He ate too. And everything changed. The serpent twisted God's words and planted doubt. The first sin didn't begin with rebellion, it began with questioning God's goodness. The fall. As soon as they ate the fruit, Adam and Eve felt something they had never felt before, shame. They realized they were naked, and they hid. God came walking in the garden. God said, "Adam, where are you?" Adam replied from behind the trees, "I was afraid, so I hid." God's heart must have ached. Not with anger, but with sorrow. They had broken trust. They had chosen their own way. Sin entered the world, not just as disobedience, but as separation from God. That's what the fall really is, the moment we turned away from Him. Consequences and compassion. Because of their choice, Adam and Eve had to leave the garden. Life would now be hard, full of pain, work, and death. But even then, God showed grace. He made clothes for them. He covered their shame. And before they left, God made a promise: one day, someone would come, a Savior, to crush evil and make everything right again. Even in judgment, God gave hope. He didn't stop loving them. He never does. What it means for us. The story of Eden isn't just about the past. It's about us. We've all eaten from the forbidden tree in our own way, choosing our way over God's. But just like with Adam and Eve, God doesn't leave us in our failure. He comes to find us. Where are you? He still asks, not because He doesn't know, but because He wants us to come back. Through Jesus, that promise in the garden is fulfilled, the relationship can be restored, the shame can be covered, and we can walk with God again. Eden was the beginning of the human story, not just about sin, but about love, choice, and a God who always makes a way back. So today, when you hear his voice asking, "Where are you?" Know this. He's not here to punish, he's here to bring you home.